now.
Listen, we're not advocates of firing coaches. Teams don't want to do it because they don't want to burn money, right?
How about that?
But look at Cleveland. You predicted a down year for them last year, and they had it under Freddie Kitchens. But this year with Kevin Stefanski, they're a playoff team. Like, it shows you how important coaching is my point, right?
Yes.
And if it's not working, you got to get the guy out of there.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yes, it is. G'day, Canada and Canadian sports fans around the world. Welcome to the RP Show. What a day. Holy, we're coming in hot, Moose.
Oh, yeah.
You know that, eh? We got special guests in the studio. Darnell's here from Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions. Do you want to toss me a T-shirt, Dar? The new ones? Watch your head, Darren. Wad it up into a ball. It's fine. This is for the rock star of the day.
Get it in the air.
Got it.
Oh.
Got it. Thank you, Darnell, for these, by the way. For the rock star of the day. These are beautiful. You can't buy these in stores. Not yet, anyways. For the rock star of the day, we got the lids, and now we got T-shirts. Thank you. Lynch will be adorned in this, on the streets of Saskatchewan to the end of time.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you, Dar. Good to see you as always. And I gave him his Connor Bedard, Regina Pats trading cards, too. So
How about that?
Bob's your uncle. I wanted to open with the Coleman Young story, but I think... Would that be too much? Hey?
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Here's the thing, by the way. I think it's important as it relates to when we get into the Quick Six show topics and stuff about the importance of news media, accuracy, and brainwashing. I'm just going to give you a real quick little societal experiment here that in grade 9 or 10, our social studies teacher, Wayne McGarry, said to our class, okay, everybody, by a show of hands, how many of you know the mayor of the city? About 3 kids put their hands up and said, Larry Schneider, Mayor Lair. Okay, by a show of hands, how many of you know the mayor of Detroit? Every hand goes up. Coleman Young, everybody says. Why? Because every day after school, we go home and flip on our Detroit. That was our cable channels, right?
Yeah.
So the point, they weren't sticking around for the 6 o'clock news. Right after school, the Detroit news was on, and we all knew. So my point is just, you're being brainwashed by the media. You don't even know it. Tick, 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 And it's important that the information you get is correct because you believe what you see. And that's just a story that we were telling before the show that I wanted to get out.
I remember it. You weren't going home in school to go watch the news.
No.
But every 15-second little promo in your commercial break of The Simpsons or whatever show you were watching was, here from Mayor Coleman Young coming up at 6.
Right. And Darnell almost fell off his chair when we were telling this story. All of the senior citizens were afraid to leave their condos in Regina and Saskatoon because that was their cable. They turn on the news and somebody's being shot and this robbery and this and that. Local news at 4.
What matters to your community?
Yeah. What? No. That's in Detroit, Grandma. Not here. So anyways, how about that? So these are some of the discussions that us squirrels have around here. Big news day, by the way. Great day to have Craig Button joining us from TSN, their director of scouting, longtime family friend of ours, and Sportsnet's Arash Badani coming up in hour 2. But it's just been an insane morning. The New York Rangers have fired head coach David Quinn, and who didn't see that coming? That came down today. And bravo to our content creator, Nelson Vo, who put up clips from Ron Duguay and Nick Kyprios. First coverage was right here from those guys.
Yeah.
So good job, Nelson, on that. And my ESPN was down this morning.
Uh-oh.
Major catastrophe. So, Nelson Hackowicz is the guy that lines me up with my ESPN. Hope it's okay that I outed you, Nelson, on that. But I completely missed the Week 1 NFL schedule unveiling this morning. I forgot that it was on because I didn't have my TV on this morning because ESPN was down. See how that works?
Yeah.
So my Quick Six show topics are a reflection of the fact that my ESPN was down this morning. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go, please, Director Jordan. Okay, and the questions are coming in here, by the way, from the viewers, and we'll get to those in a moment. I see from Dean in Green Bay watching. He says, happy NFL schedule day. #GoPackGo. It's a national holiday. But as Darren will point out many times today, it's just Week 1. Because you said it like 30 times already this morning to everybody.
That's right.
Right?
It's just week 1.
It's just Week 1. But
tonight we'll get the full schedule.
Yeah. So number 1, the Winnipeg Jets spanked the Vancouver Canucks 5-0 last night. And I know a lot of you are saying it's just Vancouver, but don't forget, last week the Canucks waxed the Edmonton Oilers. Like a win's a win in the National Hockey League, especially when it's 5-0. And the first round series are determined in Canada. It's going to be the Winnipeg Jets versus the Edmonton Oilers and the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Montreal Canadiens. Iconic series. 79, I think, was the last time the Leafs and Habs met. And it's the 80s for the Jets and the Oilers. So that's our poll question right out of the gate today. Which one of these will be the longest series of the two Canadian series? Let me say it again, because you're going to hear it a ton over the next couple weeks. Winnipeg, Edmonton, Montreal, Toronto. My guess, I want to say Winnipeg, Edmonton will be long, but I don't necessarily think it will be long. What's Craig Button saying? Habs might win a game off the Leafs. They might win a game.
Might.
I could see the Oilers taking the Jets in 6. Sorry to say. They're just steamrolling despite what happened last night. Great start for the Jets, right? It was just takes one win to get on a roll, but the Oilers have been rolling for a while.
That's right. And what is it, 2 out of 10 now for the Jets? 2 wins in 10 games?
Yes.
So despite the win, it hasn't been great. But again, you reset everything in the playoffs, and that means your mindset is brand new. It's like starting a brand new season. So I'm with you, though. I think Edmonton, Winnipeg will be the longer series.
Right. We've got weeks to get into predictions and talk, but that's just our poll question today. Point 2, should the Canadian division stay? We talked about it at the start of the year, and now we've got almost a full regular year in. I said no, remember, at the start of the year, and I said because of time, the time changes is the biggest reason. And I think the eastern side of this continent wags the dog and everything. And I talked to people out there that are tired of their team's games facing off at 10 o'clock at night. It's too late.
Yeah.
Right? In their division. But what do I really care? Where we're sitting right now, it's fine. The games start early, and the late ones don't start that late. We're sitting in the perfect spot here in the sweatpants capital, so I'll say yes, it should stay. And that's maybe we'll get that poll question up in the days and weeks ahead. But I read a column by Eric Duhatschek in the Athletic on Saturday. He said the Canadian division's like having too much birthday cake. Like it's so good at the time, but eventually it's not good for you. If you work out enough and watch your calories, you eat as much cake as you want. Let's keep it.
That's right. I mean,
are you with this?
I'm with it. I'm like, let's go.
I think we should keep it.
I think we keep it because I think the playoffs are going to be some of the best we've ever seen. We say that every year, how great they're going to be. But this is going to be like Canada-Russia Summit Series stuff. Like, we've only seen Boston and Washington and Pittsburgh on film. We haven't played them. So it's like, what's going to happen? That first game is going to be feeling each other out.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be tremendous theater. It's going to be fun to watch.
Our viewers are jumping onto this. Todd Pinckney says, no, get rid of the Canadian division. They need to play against stronger teams. It's a cakewalk for teams to get into the playoffs. Have you ever heard of the NFC East, bruh? Sorry, Dar. Both our teams reside in the worst division of the National Football League. And let's not forget about the NFC West for years that had teams winning it with below 500 records. This is not indigenous to the National Hockey League, okay? It happens. From James in Borden, Manitoba. If Scheifele and Dubois get going, the Jets have a chance. But McMuffin and crew have been feasting on the Jets. I like it. Is that where we're going? Connor McMuffin? Here's the biggest hope the Jets have really going into the playoffs is that it's a brand new season, that things will change. Because they do. But how much will they change? Right?
I know.
It is a new season, but is Connor Hellebuck going to magically get back to last year's form? Because he wasn't the same goalie this year as last year. For weeks, we're going to sit here and talk about this. What's Sherry saying regarding the mayors of Regina and Detroit? She says, when Regina finally got cable in 1975, our U.S. TV came from North Dakota. Small town North Dakota was really bad. Later, the satellite provider switched the U.S. feeds from Detroit. That was in the 80s. She's just bringing up my story. More people here knew the mayor of Detroit because the news was on right after school than knew the mayor of Regina. Because we weren't watching the news. We were waiting for our shows to come on at 4.
That's right.
Moving on, point 3. The Edmonton Football Team loses $7.1 million. So here's my take on this. Came down shortly after we got off the air yesterday, Darren, and I would like your take on this. Another societal experiment, if you will. Pretty big news that the Edmonton Football Team loses $7.1 million. There's a lot of fake news out there, and I'll get to that in a moment. I was surfing a little bit of Twitter. Dave Campbell, our good friend, Eskimo, Edmonton color guy, saying, they're canceling the season as a last resort. And I'm like, what? That's become an option now? I didn't think that was an option. So we're talking about that now? I don't know. I'm all in on the Stanley Cup playoffs and Connor Bedard and everything else. You see him wearing Blue Jays gear. So I'm not. So this morning I went to the Canadian Press Wire, of which I have a subscription, to find the story on the Edmonton Football Team losing $7.1 million. And what does that mean for this? Nothing there. So I go to 630 CHED, the website of the radio rights holder of the Edmonton Football Team. Nothing's been posted on the Edmonton Football Team since the draft last week on 630ched.com. Nothing against 630ched.com, but there was nothing there on the $7.1 million loss, nor the threat of canceling a season. There was nothing there. And the only thing that I can think is it's because the Oilers are steamrolling into the playoffs and they've forgotten about the Edmonton Football Team in the City of Champions. Because I remember Terry Jones. We all know the great Terry Jones, the Hall of Fame writer of the Edmonton Sun. Jones at large. We used to sit around a lot and talk. Media rooms in the CFL, World Juniors, Oilers. Jonesy and I were tight. And he goes, Rod, the Oilers here, it's a 365-day proposition. The Eskimos, 6 months. The 6-month window they play, they care here. The other 6 months, they don't care about the Eskimos. But the Oilers, it's 365 in Edmonton. And I'm like, that's like the Pats and the Riders here. Riders are 365, and the Pats are just in season.
Yeah.
Right? It's just the way the markets work. And that's my point is I had to dig pretty hard to find coverage for the Edmonton Football Team losing $7.1 million. And where I got it was from the team website where the full statement was there. So I read that. And what a great job the team president's done to keep this team on stable ground. And then I got a 3 down, and there's rumors that they've got $15 million in the bank still, so they're fine. And I'm like, then why did you have to gun your 49-year equipment manager but give your coach $500,000 that didn't coach again? You guys figure it out. I'll move on to the Blue Jays. Where are you? That's just my story. You got to dig hard to find CFL news these days.
I know, and
then you even got to wonder if it's right.
But you wonder how much is the team sending out that info too? And it's bad news, so we don't really want to put it out there, but you should. And if this was the NFL, it would be a daily situation of, when are they going to announce their financial situation? Expecting it on Thursday. And then, on Tuesday it would be, here's what we project it will be. And it's coming out the next day. And there'd be constant news every single day, right? And see how you stay top of mind? That's what's happening in Edmonton on the Oilers. Now, and if it's not happening on your football team, you need to make it happen.
Alberta's awake. John Kirby writing in and says, the Edmonton Journal had it, Rod. This is what the CFL doesn't understand. This is that societal experiment thing I was saying. I'm not going to sit all morning and try and find this Edmonton news, okay? Because the Jets played last night. The Pats named their most popular player. The Blue Jays are in flight. I'm not going to sit and look everywhere for this Edmonton football news. So it's in the Edmonton Journal. Great. Maybe I'll look it up later today. Probably not. As my brother says, we live in a 24-hour world. So yesterday.
Yes.
Jack Fulton, watching in Vulcan, Alberta. CFL and COVID are the same. Too much mass information equals frustration and distrust. If I'm starting to lose my steam for CFL news, what does that mean for John Q. Public? And the Blue Jays won last night. I'll say it again. In Atlanta, right? I can't wait for a rash in hour 2 because for years, he's a little younger than me, not a lot, but he's been counseling me. Rod, it's early. It's early. It's always saying it's early. You put this to football, we're in week 2, so just pump the brakes. Doesn't mean that they're not exciting.
Oh, yeah.
And every game's exciting.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what Arash's take is on the Blue Jays right now. Do they have a chance? Last I saw, they were 4th in the division. Everybody's excited right now.
Yeah.
But we were normally out of it by May for 20 years, right, Dar?
That's right.
So just to win a few games in May and be in the conversations. Exciting here in Canada. Point 5, hyper-local thing, but Connor Bedard does not win the Regina Pats MVP award. I was stunned. Yeah, just saying, our Connor's better. But they voted for, there was 10,000 votes cast at reginapats.com, and Riker Evans, the 19-year-old defenseman, won. And I'm like Trump. Can we get a recount here? Nothing against Riker Evans, but I voted for Connor Bedard. I mean, Darnell, you weren't asking for those Pats cards for Riker Evans' card. No. Let's just be honest about it, okay?
A good year, but.
Right. And then point 6, I was going to talk about the NBA playoffs. Do we care when the Raptors aren't in them? But most popular player, yes. Yeah, voted for by the, what did I say, MVP? Whatever. Doesn't matter. The point is the fans voted for Riker Evans, not Connor Bedard. Shocks me. But anyways, to the NBA thing, I'm not going to talk about the NBA right now because the NFL is returning to London in October for its first games in the city since the outbreak of the coronavirus. The Falcons will play the Jets on October 10th, and the Jacksonville Jaguars and Tim Tebow face the Miami Dolphins a week later. Both games will be staged at the stadium of Premier League soccer team Tottenham. So we'll unpack all of that later. Rash will join us. We'll talk about America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, taking on Tom in week 1. That's the featured marquee game?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Thursday night.
It's an exciting day. And by the way, the Greek Freak has texted me. We got a new tagline here for this warm-up, which is brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace. Bear with me. I get a lot of texts in a day, man.
Well, you pulled that.
Starting Monday, come on down to catch all the NHL playoffs. Of course, belief.
Oh, no.
It started.
Oh, no.
Monday night, restaurants back open. Come watch the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm sorry, because we got Craig Button in next. Can you hold that thought?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, we'll be right back. You're watching the ERP Show on Game Plus Television Network across all 10 provinces and 31 states. Live daily on YouTube and Facebook, and 24-hour sports talk for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.